Let me ask you something. Have you ever stood across from a younger woman, maybe 10, 15 years younger, and felt like you were walking on eggshells? Like one wrong word, one too eager smile, and the moment would just collapse. You've got life experience, you've got presence, you've been through the fire. But somehow, in front of her, you feel like a boy again, trying to guess what she wants, hoping she doesn't lose interest. I'm here to tell you the truth. It's not about your money. It's not about your looks. It's not about trying to impress her. You lose her the second you lose your masculine frame. That's what this video is about. Because when a man knows how to hold that frame when he stays grounded, leads without asking, and doesn't flinch when tested, something shifts. Younger women feel it, deep in their bones, and they chase it. You don't need to pretend to be someone younger. You don't need tricks. You just need to stop handing away your power like it's worth nothing. In this video, I'll show you 5 masculine frame secrets that flip the script, so she's the one chasing, not you. And by the way, if you're the kind of man who's ready to stop doubting himself, hit that subscribe button now. This channel is for you. Let's get into it. Number 1. Pass her tests like a man, not a boy. Let's make one thing clear. If you're dating a younger woman, especially one with options, she's going to test you. Not because she's manipulative, but because on a subconscious level, she needs to know something. Is this man solid, or is he going to crack when things get uncomfortable? These tests come in all shapes. Some are playful, some are passive-aggressive, some are cold. But every one of them asks the same silent question: are you a man who can hold his ground? Let's look at Mike. He's 52, runs a logistics company in Ohio, just got back into dating after a rough divorce. He meets Rachel, 29, a gorgeous and sharp-witted yoga instructor. They hit it off. First couple of dates are smooth. Then it begins. She shows up late and doesn't apologize. When he talks about his business, she smirks and says, "You sound like my dad." Mike chuckles nervously, then goes into over-explaining why what he does matters. After dinner, he texts her a long message, asking if he said anything wrong. That's how you fail the test. Rachel wasn't trying to push him away. She was feeling him out, seeing if the maturity he projects is real or just surface. The moment Mike responded with insecurity, with over-explaining, with seeking her approval, he lost the tension. Not because he's a bad guy, but because he slipped out of his frame. Masculine frame means this: you stay centered when she's spinning. You don't chase comfort. You don't beg for clarity. You don't get pulled into her moods. You lead calmly, like it's your natural state. Younger women are drawn to older men because they assume we've outgrown the boyish need to be liked. The second you show otherwise, the energy shifts, and so does the attraction. Let's flip the script. Same date, same woman, same smirk. But this time, Mike looks her dead in the eye, holds a pause, then says with a half smile, "You like to test guys, huh?" And he doesn't wait for a reaction. He changes the subject and orders a drink. What just happened? He passed. He didn't defend. He didn't flinch. He called it out with calm confidence. Rachel feels that, deep, and now she's intrigued. That's the power of frame. Here's another one. Greg, 47, lives in Austin, owns a creative agency, meets Kayla, 30, at a rooftop mixer. On their second date, she says, "I'm not looking for anything serious." Most guys would panic, try to convince her otherwise. Greg just leans back and says, "That's cool. I'm serious about enjoying tonight." Then sips his drink like it's nothing. Result? She leaned in. Passing her tests isn't about dominance. It's about stillness. The kind of stillness that says, "I'm good with or without you. You're welcome to come closer, but I'm not chasing." And here's the truth. The tests never stop. They just get subtler. The stronger your frame, the more she'll test to see if it's real. Not because she wants you to fail, but because she wants to trust that you won't. So next time she rolls her eyes, takes a jab, or plays distant "don't bite," Let the tension hang. Let your silence speak. Let her wonder if you're unshakable. Because when she can't move you, she starts moving toward you. Most men never learn this. They keep trying to impress women who are quietly testing their core. They don't realize they're failing before the game even begins. But you're not most men. If you've felt this, if you've been in that moment where you folded under pressure and saw her interest fade, you already know what's at stake. And if you're ready to never fail that test again, drop it in the comments. Say it out loud. Own it. I hold frame. Let's keep going. Number 2. Lead without asking for permission. Let's talk about something that silently kills attraction. Asking before leading. You might think you're being polite, respectful, maybe even romantic. But from her perspective, every time you check in for permission, what she sees is doubt. And doubt is the opposite of masculine energy. You don't lead by waiting for a green light. You don't project confidence by asking, "Is this okay?" or "What do you want me to do?" over and over. Real leadership, especially in the presence of a younger, high-value woman, isn't about taking control of her. It's about owning control of yourself. This shows up in the smallest moments. You suggest a restaurant, then instantly backpedal if she hesitates. You make a move physically, then stop halfway to ask, "Too soon?" You plan something, then nervously wait for her to approve it. And every time you do that, you signal that you're unsure. A woman doesn't feel drawn to a man who needs constant reassurance. She's drawn to a man who already trusts his own direction, who includes her, but doesn't need her to guide the entire journey. Marcus Aurelius put it best: waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. It applies here perfectly. Don't keep asking if you're making the right move. Make it. Be it. And let her feel the security of your certainty. Because here's the truth. Younger women are surrounded by indecisive, overly agreeable guys. What they crave isn't dominance, it's presence. A man who decides, without over-explaining. Who leads, not because he's better than her, but because he's already done playing it safe. Stoicism teaches that the only thing we truly control is ourselves, our thoughts, our actions, our choices. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life." And the first step to that freedom is letting go of your need to be liked at every turn. Leading doesn't mean being rude. It doesn't mean ignoring her. It means you initiate, you guide, you walk forward with clarity, and if she pushes back, you don't fold. You hold steady and adjust if it makes sense, but you don't collapse. That's what creates polarity. She feels your direction, your grounded presence, and it lets her soften. Because when she doesn't have to hold the map, she gets to enjoy the ride. It's not about proving anything. It's about being the man who doesn't shrink in the moment, who doesn't keep checking to make sure she's okay with every little thing. That level of confidence isn't arrogance, it's security. And it's rare. So what does this look like in real time? It looks like ordering without apologizing, starting conversations without hesitation, taking the lead with touch, not with permission slips. It means being in tune, but not dependent on her reactions. The irony? The more permission you seek, the less you get it, because you're no longer showing up as a man. You're showing up as someone hoping she'll hand you the role. And trust me, she won't. She'll test it. She'll question it. She might even act like she wants to lead, but deep down, she's hoping you take that weight off her shoulders. You've felt this before, haven't you? That moment when you knew you should have just said it, just done it, but you held back. You hesitated. You softened something that didn't need to be softened. And later, when things cooled off, you knew exactly why. You ever walk away from a moment thinking, "Damn, I knew what I should have done, but I talked myself out of it"? That's not just hesitation, that's self-betrayal. And it leaves a mark on you, not just her. Every time you wait for permission, you train yourself to play small. You train her to lead, and you train your masculine energy to shrink. But today's different. If you're still here, you already feel the shift. This isn't about impressing women. It's about reclaiming the part of you that doesn't wait to be told you're enough. If you've felt this in your gut, like you've outgrown asking and you're ready to start leading, drop it below. Say it with no apology. I don't ask. I lead. Let's move forward. Number 3. Stay unshakably calm when she's not. There's a moment that makes or breaks attraction, and it never happens on a good day. It happens when she's moody, emotional, distant, maybe even hostile. And everything in you wants to fix it, explain yourself, smooth it over. But that's the trap, because when she loses her center, the most attractive thing you can do is keep yours. Let's talk about Daniel. He's 55, works in finance in San Diego. Divorced for 5 years, steady guy, keeps in shape, reads Marcus Aurelius on his lunch breaks. He starts dating Alyssa, 31, a marketing manager who's smart, gorgeous, and unpredictable. Things go well for the first month. Then one night at dinner, out of nowhere, she starts picking at things. Why didn't you text back earlier? You don't ask much about my work. Are you even serious about this? Daniel feels the heat rise in his chest. The instinct kicks in. He wants to defend himself. He wants to correct her version of reality. He wants to fix it now, right there, at the table. But he doesn't. He takes a slow breath, looks at her without reacting, and says, "You sound a little stirred up tonight. You good?" She pauses. The energy shifts, because what Alyssa was really doing wasn't arguing. She was spinning emotionally, and she needed to feel that the man across from her wasn't going to spin with her. That's what calm does. It breaks the cycle. When a woman is worked up and the man stays anchored, she either settles down or reveals she's not ready for a man like that. Either way, you stay in your power. Stoicism isn't about being emotionally numb. It's about being emotionally sovereign. You don't suppress what you feel. You just don't let her chaos become yours. Younger women, especially the confident ones, are used to men mirroring their moods. When she pulls away, they chase. When she snaps, they apologize. When she cries, they panic. You don't do that. You don't match energy. You set the tone. Daniel didn't ignore Alyssa's emotion. He didn't dismiss her. He held still long enough to let her process it without trying to take it away. That's masculine containment. That's what allows her to feel safe. And when a woman feels safe, she softens. Maybe not immediately, maybe not obviously, but something opens. Because she realizes she's finally with someone who doesn't flinch. Later that week, Alyssa texted him, "Thanks for not reacting the other night. That meant more than you know." That's the thing. When she's emotional, she's not always looking for a solution. She's looking for proof. Proof that your energy is stronger than hers, that your presence is bigger than her storm. Most men fail that test. Not because they're bad guys, but because they confuse emotion with threat. They think calm means cold. It doesn't. Calm is sexy. It's the thing that tells her, "I've seen worse. I've been through more. And I'm not leaving just because the wind picks up." If you've ever had a woman pull away just when things started to get intense, this might have been the reason. She didn't want you to fix her. She wanted to feel that you wouldn't break. And once she feels that, she starts leaning in. Because when she's swirling and you're still, she stops feeling alone and starts feeling safe. Have you ever been in that moment where you stayed calm when everything in you wanted to fight, explain, or run? If you have, you already know what kind of power that gives you. And if you haven't, trust me, you will. And when it happens, remember this. Don't chase, don't fix, don't flinch. Hold. If this clicked for you, if you've lived this or you know, you need to type it below. Say it for yourself. You hold still. Let's keep moving. Number 4. Be the mystery that turns her on. There's something more powerful than muscles, money, or perfect words. It's mystery. Not the fake kind where you play games or disappear for days. The kind that comes from living in your own world and only letting her into parts of it. You want to know what makes a younger woman chase an older man? It's not just maturity, it's the feeling that she'll never fully figure you out, that there's something going on behind your eyes she doesn't have access to yet. That makes her curious, and curiosity is the seed of desire. Most guys overshare. They think being open means dumping their entire life story in the first 2 dates. They explain every thought, every opinion. They try so hard to be understood, they leave nothing to be discovered. And once there's nothing to discover, there's nothing left to feel drawn to. Real men, men with masculine frame, understand this. You don't owe her full access right away. Not because you're hiding something, but because you know your depth is earned, not handed out. The Stoics practiced a kind of quiet strength. Epictetus said, "If you wish to be a writer, write." The message? Do the thing. Don't talk about the thing. The same applies here. If you want her to feel something around you, don't explain it, embody it. Let her wonder. Let her sit in the silence sometimes. Let her ask herself, what's he thinking? And don't rush to fill the gap, because if she knows exactly what you're going to say, do and feel every time you stop being a man and start becoming a character in her script. Predictable, safe, forgettable. Mystery doesn't mean being emotionally unavailable. It means you're selective with your energy. You share when it matters, not when it's easy. You don't open every door. You let her knock, and when the timing's right, you unlock one. That's what keeps her coming back. Not because you're playing hard to get, but because you're hard to define. You've built a life that doesn't revolve around needing her attention. You've got purpose, direction, rituals she doesn't understand yet. That tension between who you are and what she knows about you, that's what turns her on. She wants to explore you, not consume you. She wants to sense that there are layers she hasn't touched yet, and maybe never will. And when she leans in to get closer, you don't pull away, but you also don't pour everything out. You hold the mystery, even in connection, especially in connection, because once she knows there's more to find, she keeps looking. And that looking, that's where desire lives. There's power in not being obvious. Power in letting her feel things she can't quite name. Power in the fact that while other men are broadcasting their thoughts like a podcast, you're still. Stillness invites curiosity, and curiosity feeds tension. And tension, real, sexual, emotional tension, is what makes her dream about you when you're not in the room. You don't need tricks for this. You just need to stop explaining yourself so much. If she asks why you do something, sometimes the best answer is just a smile. If she wants to know what you're thinking, you don't need to say everything. Let her feel it. That's mystery. That's magnetism. That's what keeps you unforgettable. You ever notice how the most powerful men say the least and leave the strongest impression? There's a reason. Now ask yourself this. Have you been giving too much too soon? Have you been trying to impress instead of intrigue? If this part of yours been missing, if you're ready to stop being an open book and start being a deeper man, say it below. Let this be your new default. I don't explain, I intrigue. We're not done yet. Number 5. Own your emotions. Don't rent them out. Let's get real. The second you let a woman control how you feel, you've lost the frame. If she can flip your mood with a look, a delay in texting, or some passive-aggressive comment, then your emotions aren't yours. They're hers. You don't own them. You rent them out and she's the landlord. Let's take Michael, 50, lives in Arizona, runs a small contracting business, just started dating again after a decade in a lifeless marriage. He meets Chloe, 33, divorced, sharp, playful, and unpredictable. At first, Michael feels 10 feet tall. Chloe lights up when she sees him. The chemistry is insane. Then week 3 hits. She takes hours to reply. She gets cold for no reason. She mentions an ex twice, and Michael feels it. His chest tightens. His mind races. He wants to ask what's wrong, fix it, force clarity. Instead, he goes quiet, withdraws, starts reading into every word she says, checking timestamps like he's investigating a crime scene. When they finally talk, he's guarded, slightly bitter, and she feels it. Not because he said anything wrong, but because his energy has changed. And now, he's reacting. Not leading, not grounded. That's what happens when you give your emotions away. You go from being the sun to being a weather vane spinning whichever way she blows. But here's the truth. A grounded man feels everything, but he doesn't let every feeling become a reaction. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Stoicism is about ownership, of thought, of feeling, of action. You don't suppress emotions, you command them. So when a woman does something that stings or stirs you, the masculine move isn't to lash out, ghost her, or pretend you don't care. It's to pause, breathe, sit in it, and decide consciously how you respond. Michael could have felt that sting from Chloe and said, "Okay, I see what this is. She's testing. She's not clear. Doesn't mean I have to collapse." He could have gone about his day, hit the gym, called his brother, focused on what he controls. Instead, he let her energy hijack his emotional state. And once that happens, once she sees that power, she loses respect, even if she doesn't realize it consciously. Attraction fades not because you're emotional, but because you're unstable. The strongest men aren't cold. They're contained. Their emotions are private real estate, not something they broadcast at every trigger. And that creates polarity. When she sees you staying solid while still being human, she relaxes. She knows you're not going to crumble just because she's having a bad day. You become the anchor. And that's what turns her on. Masculinity isn't about being stoic like a stone. It's about being able to feel and still stay present, still stay kind, still stay clear. It's emotional leadership, not just over her, but over yourself. So ask yourself, when was the last time you gave your emotional power away? When did you let one person, one comment, one moment dictate how you showed up? If that's been you, if you've been riding waves that weren't yours, this is your turning point. Say it below. Not for me, for you. I own my state, because once you do, everything shifts. Let's keep going. Number 6. Speak with heat, then pull back with ice. There's a moment in every connection when things start to warm up, when the attraction is real, and you feel her leaning in. Most men push forward. They get excited. They over-engage. They start talking too much, revealing too much, giving too much too soon. But the masters, the men who truly understand the dance, they know what to do next. They speak with heat, then pull back with ice. This isn't about playing games. It's about tension. You turn her on, not just by what you say, but by what you withhold. You give her a taste of presence, of flirtation, of depth, and then you step back, not out of fear, but out of discipline. That space, that's what drives her wild. You speak to her with intensity. You look her in the eyes and say something that hits deep. You show her there's fire inside you, that she's not just dealing with another bland, agreeable guy who likes long walks and good vibes. Then, you back off. You let the moment breathe. You let her sit in what just happened. You don't over-explain it. You don't follow up 5 minutes later asking, "Was that okay?" You just leave it hanging. Because that's where desire lives. In the gap between her wanting more and not knowing if she'll get it. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Most men waste their energy chasing moments they've already earned. They keep talking when they should have gone silent. They keep pushing when they should have paused. Stoicism teaches temperance, knowing not just what to give, but when to hold. That's what this is. You drop the flame, then walk away like it was nothing, and she'll feel it in her body. That thrill of emotional contrast of being pulled in, then left suspended. Because mystery alone doesn't create tension. Heat alone doesn't either. It's the shift, the emotional whiplash that electrifies her. Most guys don't get this. They either stay too cold, distant, unreadable, or they run hot all the time, trying too hard to prove they're into her. But you move like water. You flow in close, then pull back like a tide. And that movement says something no words can. It says, I'm not afraid to feel, and I'm not afraid to disappear. That combination is magnetic. You want her attention? Don't ask for it. Earn it, then take it away. Make her remember how it felt when you looked at her with fire, then turned and walked off like she was just another stop on your path. Again, this isn't about being rude. This isn't manipulation. It's emotional leadership. It's self-control, and it's hot. It tells her, I can touch the edge of intimacy, but I don't need to fall into it. And that restraint, that cool, unbothered step back after a heated exchange, that's what separates men she remembers from men she forgets. So the next time you feel the chemistry building, don't overplay it. Say the thing that stirs her. Hold the eye contact a little longer than usual. Let her feel that heat. Then go cold. Not because you're punishing her, but because you've mastered the contrast. Like all great art, attraction lives in contrast. Light and shadow, fire and stillness. You bring both. And when you do, she won't just feel attracted. She'll feel pulled, compelled to understand you, to earn more of your attention. That's when the chase flips. Now, if you've ever been the guy who stayed too long in the heat, who burned out the tension by giving too much too soon, you're not alone. But that ends now. Leave a comment and claim it. I control the contrast. Because once you do, she'll feel it. And she won't forget it. Let's go deeper. Number 7. Let your eyes talk, but say very little. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say to a woman is nothing. Not silence out of fear, not because you don't know what to say, but because you understand something deeper. Your presence speaks louder than your words. Let me tell you about Brian. He's 58, owns a small martial arts gym in Austin, spent most of his life being the nice guy, always polite, always explaining, always trying to be seen as safe. Then he met Jade, 34, beautiful, quick-witted, sharp tongue. The kind of woman who's used to running circles around men twice her age emotionally. On their second date, she asked him a question, mid-conversation. So what do you really want out of this? But Brian didn't answer right away. He just looked at her, held the pause, let the tension rise. Not cold, not distant, just calm, still, focused. He let his eyes say what his words didn't have to. I know what I want. I'm just not here to sell myself to you. And it hit her, because when a man speaks less but feels more present, he becomes unpredictable. And that unpredictability sparks attraction. Most guys talk to fill silence. They explain, over-express, overshare, thinking that words will build the connection. But connection isn't built in explanation. It's built in tension, in energy, in moments where the words don't come and don't need to. The Stoics understood this. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When your thoughts are grounded, your gaze reflects it. When your mind is still, your eyes don't dart, they hold. And that holding power, that's what makes her lean in. When Brian looked at Jade that way, steady, sure of himself, not trying to impress, she softened. Her energy changed. She started asking more questions, trying to get behind that stare. Because that's what women do when they sense there's more behind the curtain. You want to be that man, the one who doesn't rush to fill gaps with noise, the one who uses words with precision and knows when to say nothing. It's not about staring her down or acting cold. It's about allowing space, letting your attention do the talking, letting her feel you through how you look at her, not just what you say to her. And when you do speak, it lands harder. Because it's not surrounded by fluff. It's rare, intentional. Women remember that. They remember the man who didn't need to explain himself to be understood. The man whose eyes made them feel seen, but also made them wonder, what's he thinking? That wonder creates desire, and that desire keeps her engaged. So next time you're with her, slow everything down. When she talks, really listen. When she looks at you, hold. When she flirts or tests, don't rush to answer. Let your energy rise and say very little. She'll feel it, and she'll follow it. You ever had a moment like that, where you felt more connected in one silent stare than in an hour-long conversation? If not, it's probably because you've been too busy trying to be understood instead of letting yourself be felt. That ends now. Your eyes should speak from a place of calm. Your silence should carry weight. Your presence should leave an echo, even after you've walked away. So if this part of yours been underused, if you've been talking too much and watching too little, it's time to shift. Let this moment mark the start of a new presence. Say it below if you feel it in your bones. I speak with presence, because when you do, she'll hear you loud and clear, and she won't forget it. Number 8. Touch her mind before you touch her skin. Here's a truth most men miss. If you can't touch her mind, your hands won't matter. You can have the looks, the money, the charm, but if she doesn't feel something beyond the physical, it won't stick. Especially with younger women who have no shortage of attention. They're not impressed by surface, they're drawn to signal. And signal starts in the mind. It's in the way you look at her, not with hunger, but with awareness. It's in the way you ask a question that slices through the small talk. It's in the silence you allow between your sentences. That space, that curiosity, that's where mental intimacy is born. The mistake most men make is going straight for physical escalation. They think a compliment, a touch on the arm, a well-timed joke is enough. But women, especially high-value women, are scanning for something deeper, something that speaks to their mind before it ever gets to their body. You want her to feel safe, intrigued, energized. Then meet her there at the level of thought, not just sensation. Ask her things she doesn't hear every day, not out of manipulation, out of real presence. Listen to what she says, not to respond, but to understand. And when you do respond, do it slowly, calmly, with weight. Because words that are thrown don't land, but words that are placed land like touch. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And when your thoughts are calm, grounded, clear, that's what she feels from you. She feels that you're not just hunting her body, you're reading her frequency. And that's when attraction deepens. Because now it's not about what she looks like, it's about how she feels when she's around you. She starts leaning in. She drops the performative front. Her breathing slows. Her voice changes. That's not seduction. That's nervous system trust. And you created that, not by rushing in, but by holding your frame. Touching her mind means showing her you're not in a hurry, that you can handle tension, that you'd rather be felt deeply than accepted quickly. And when you finally do touch her skin, it doesn't feel like a move. It feels like a continuation of something that already began long before. This is where most men get filtered out, not because they're not attractive, but because they never even tried to reach her deeper layers. They didn't have the patience, or the depth, or the presence. But you do. Because if you're still watching this, you're not here to play shallow. You're here to build something magnetic. And it starts not with the hand, but with the mind. If this unlocked something in, you drop it below. I reach her mind first. Let's keep building. Number 9. Set boundaries like you set the mood. Here's something no one tells you. The moment you start setting boundaries like a man is the moment she starts seeing you as one. Let's look at Travis. He's 47, runs a small architecture firm in Denver, stoic to the core. Not flashy, not dramatic, just grounded. He starts seeing Brooke, 29. She's a force smart, flirtatious, a little chaotic. They click fast, great chemistry, long nights, intense talks. But about a month in, she starts pushing, showing up late, canceling last minute, flirting in front of him to test his reaction. And here's where most guys fall apart. They either blow up, get emotional, confrontational, or they shut down, afraid to rock the boat. Travis does neither. One night she texts, "Sorry, I'm running super late, again schedule." He replies, "No worries, let's skip tonight. I don't reschedule twice." No anger, no guilt trip, no long explanation. Just a boundary. Clean, masculine, final. And here's what happened. Brooke went silent for a day. Then she came back, apologized, showed up the next time on time, dressed to kill. Because boundaries don't push women away. They filter. They filter the ones who were never ready for your frame in the first place. Women don't test you to destroy you. They test to see what you'll allow. Not just what you'll tolerate, but what you stand for. And when you set the tone, not with control, but with clarity, you create safety. Stoicism isn't about being passive, it's about being principle-driven. Epictetus wrote, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That includes the standards you hold for how you're treated. If your mood shifts every time she pushes a line, you're not a man, you're a reactor. But if you stay calm, state your limits, and move forward without resentment, now you're untouchable. You don't explain your boundaries, you embody them, like the way you dim the lights before dinner, the way you choose music for the night, the way you lead her into presence, into connection, into trust. Same energy. Setting the mood and setting boundaries, they come from the same place, inner control. You lead the energy, you direct the dynamic, and you never beg for respect. Because respect isn't requested, it's reflected in how you show up. Have you ever been in Travis's shoes, where you had to choose between keeping her happy or keeping yourself centered? And when you did set the line, how did she respond? Leave that below. Not just for me, but for every man watching who needs to hear it. Say it like you mean it. My boundary sets the tone. We're almost there. And the final move, the one that flips everything in your favor, is coming up next. Number 10. Make her feel safe enough to want to be bad. Most men misunderstand what danger feels like to a woman. They think being edgy or unpredictable makes her excited. They mistake emotional chaos for sexual energy. But here's the truth. A woman becomes her most uninhibited, most turned on, most deeply feminine, not when she feels adrenaline, but when she feels safe. And not safe like nice guy safe. Not safe like I'll do whatever you want or I'll never challenge you. Safe like solid. Safe like this man won't be shaken if I go dark. Safe like he sees me and he's not afraid of me. That's the frame that unlocks the part of her she doesn't show anyone else. Because when she feels that grounded energy, when she knows you're not judging, not rushing, not trying to fix or control, she starts to let go. She doesn't hold back, doesn't perform, doesn't manage your perception of her. She drops in. That's when she laughs deeper, breathes slower, touches longer. That's when her voice changes, her eyes soften. That's when the good girl mask falls and the woman underneath steps forward, raw, wild, honest. But here's the paradox. This only happens when she feels emotionally held. You create that by staying present, by not flinching when she opens up, by not needing to match her drama or her story, by letting her be chaotic while you remain clear. Stoicism teaches this state. Marcus Aurelius said, "Be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands, unmoved, and the raging of the sea falls still around it." That's what you are, the stillness she surrenders to. You don't lead her into chaos. You give her the container to let her own chaos be free. And when you do that, when she feels that kind of trust, she wants to be all the things she's not supposed to be. Not because you asked her to, but because her nervous system tells her she can. That's not game. That's gravity. And when you've got that, everything changes. If you've made it this far, you're not just watching, you're remembering who you really are. This channel isn't here to hand out tricks. It's here to sharpen the part of you that refuses to be average. So if you're building your masculine frame, your discipline, your inner gravity, Subscribe now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.